Good evening, and welcome to Gracklecast number 2. Tonight we are going to be flying the Tektite, the rock ship Type C layout, which happens to be the only Type C layout I've managed to unlock since the Advanced Edition launched. Mostly because the Rock's Type B layout is pretty reliable compared to most of the Type B ships. At any rate, we've got a pretty nice starting setup for this one. Clone bay instead of the med bay, which makes things a bit interesting, and a single crystal crew member, which is pretty handy, especially if I manage to get my hands on a transporter. Also got the shield piercing heavy crystal Mark 1, which is almost as good as a heavy piercing laser, except defense drones can stop it. And the swarm missiles, which if you've messed around with any of the charge weapons in FTL's Advanced Edition yet, is basically like those, except it fires missiles. And you can charge up to 3, and it still only costs you 1 missile to shoot, which is pretty handy. It also fires in kind of an area like a flat gun, which makes it a little bit less precise than your average weapon, but still pretty handy when you need something that pierces shields. And away we go. Let's see. You know what, normally I'm not a big fan of bribes, but I don't want to have to break through that super shield. Not on my first jump. Okay, let's see. I'll actually have a use for missiles on this ship, so I'm not just going to go trading them away willy-nilly. Battlefield. I think this is one of the newer events in the new DLC. Oh, here we go. So, wanted to avoid dealing with super shields, and here I am. Now, my early goal here in this game is going to be to try to get my hands on a transporter, because once I can get that, combined with that crystal crew member, I'm gonna be in pretty good shape. There's the swarm missile at work. Alright. So pretty handy when you need to batter something down in a hurry, but if it's a smaller room, you might have to deal with some accuracy issues. Take out their helm to stop them from dodging me. So there's no sense wasting good missiles on a ship that I've got crippled. And the first victory of the run. I'm sure the death will start shortly. Okay, auto ship with hacking. Okay, this is gonna hurt. Especially because it's on my helm, so it can negate my evasion. I've lost my life support, but it'll last for a little while without any issues. If I can take their... oh, jeez. This is the problem with fighting auto ships. They often have ridiculous evasion. So things are already going smashingly, as you can see. Unfortunately, this is taking a while to get that missile launcher back online. Well, speak of the devil. Thank God, finally a direct hit. Okay. So a bit damaging, but on the other hand, you know, it's only hull damage. I'm still in the green. And nobody died, so plus. Moving right along. Get a little bit of a heal on each jump from the clone bay, but not very much with it unupgraded. Okay, with mercenaries. This is probably gonna hurt though. Mercenary's a bit better armed than I expected. Maybe I can... There we go. That helps a little. And unless my ears deceive me, I just caused a hull breach on their ship. That'll slow them down repairing the weapons. Here's the rebel ship. Oh, it's got itself a couple of anti-drone drones, anti-combat drones, which aren't terribly worrisome because I'm not using any kind of offensive drones. Now, if it had defense drones, I'd be in trouble, though not that much trouble. Defense drones would stop my crystal launcher, but I could at least charge up the swarm from the swarm missile and take it out that way. And they must have an NG crew member because they are bringing that system back up pretty dang fast. Luckily they aren't very evasive, so I can take it down pretty dang fast. And victory. Alright, so far so good. Be nice if I could find a store, but can't have everything. That was close. Neutralize the beam drone. That was a real danger here. I can train my rock crew members a little bit by letting them try and dodge that laser. So I'm doing these live casts as part of a fundraising effort for the Extra Life fundraiser, which raises money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Specifically, I'm raising money for Hurley Children's Hospital in Flint, Michigan. There's a link to my fundraising page in the description if you're feeling in a generous mood, or you want to see some of the silly things that I've promised to people who donate. Let's see, we've got a defense system that's gone haywire. Okay, the last time I tried this one, I got hurt pretty bad. And all I'd be doing is blowing it up, which they're not going to be happy with. So, sorry, can't help you. You wouldn't want my help. It'd be counterproductive. Okay, and that about wraps it up for the first sector. Let's see what we've got here. Can I find somebody to sell to me? No, but I got some stuff out of it, which is nice. That event can result in somebody selling to you. It can also result in somebody tipping off the rebels to your presence and you get hit by a ship. If you have the mind control system, on the other hand, you get a blue option to just force somebody to sell to you. Let's see. Well, let's go to the Zoltan sector. Nice thing about Zoltan territory is that it usually has more nebula sectors, or beacons, than most locations. Not so much this one, but... Okay, this is gonna hurt. Alright, just gonna have to leave my oxygen off for a bit and take down their weapons as fast as possible. Oh look, they have a transporter. Where are they at? They're at my doors. I'll let them pound on that for a while. One nice thing about the swarm missile, if you don't have to charge it up, or you don't feel the need to charge it up, it charges for a single shot pretty fast. I better get my oxygen back on. If it gets close to running away, I can fire the swarm missiles to stop it, but I'd rather not use missiles if I don't have to. They run out faster than you'd think. Alright. Switch off the oxygen long enough to jump out of here. I'll repair a little bit of damage. Still want to conserve scrap for trying to get a new subsystem at a store. Nope, don't want to give up any fuel. Okay, rebel ship, fun. It's times like this it would be really handy. Ouch. There we go. Spread the love around a little bit at their ship systems. Oh, here comes the FTL charging. Once again, I've got my missiles in reserve if it comes down to it. Which it looks like it's gonna. Well, I probably could have gotten away with that, better safe than sorry. Let's see, I know I'm saving up for a store, but level 2 shields will make me a lot safer. Let's see, oh hey, intruders. Better power the clone bay back up because I'm going to need it. Thankfully I upgraded my shields, or else I'd be having some difficulties from the whole weapon setup they've got going there. So as you can see, having a clone bay allows me to be a bit more reckless with my crew members than I would normally be. In fact, it kind of requires me to be a bit more reckless because I don't have a fast means of healing them like I would with a med bay. So sometimes it's just faster to let them die than to try and let them nurse them back to health with the clone bay's passive heal over time. What really helps is if you can get a transporter and the reconstitutive transport augment to heal people when you transport them. But I don't even have a transporter yet, so that's wishful thinking for right now. This guy wants me to retake his ship, but he also wants me to not destroy it. That's gonna be tricky. I don't know if I can pull that off. And we've got a mind control system, which is lovely. And missiles. Can't forget the missiles. Honestly, I'm not sure it's worth the effort to try and take it without destroying it. Yikes. This is not good. Yeah, we're in a bit of pain here. Okay. Maybe, just maybe, I can suffocate him. But no, I'm gonna destroy the ship before that happens. No doubt about it. So sorry, Zoltan Captain, but don't have a choice but to destroy the pirates. I'll hire you though. There, see, everybody wins. Or at least I win. Now I have somebody to man my shields. And just a little bit more energy, which is always nice. Away party. Aw. Abandoned base. Oh, look, there's a store. Let's see if I can scrounge a little bit more scrap before I get there. Ooh, rebel ship with a flat cannon. Well, let's be a little bit wasteful with our missiles because flat cannons are mean. There we go. Now we're nice and safe. If you haven't seen flat cannons in the new system yet, they are a bit nasty. They're fired in an area like my swarm missiles do, And they have some accuracy issues, but they will do a number on your shields if you're not careful. And if you can get your hands on them, they will do pretty well for you. Here we go. Also like that they have 2 pages of store stuff now. Let's get rid of this whole repair drone so we can get a crew teleporter. I have to pick up a drone bay on a new, another option, because even if I sell my rock plating, I'm not going to be able to afford it. But the important thing is, I can start sending people on boarding parties. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to make it in time if I go the long way around. That's what we got here. Okay, so they've got a med bay. Not a problem. I've got a crystal crew member. And this is the awesome thing about having a crystal crew member on your side when you're boarding. Being able to lock people out of rooms. Let's see, I better get some power into my clone bay because said aforementioned crystal crew member is going to die in a little bit. This is where the clone bay and the transporter strategy doesn't quite jive perfectly. Because I couldn't heal my guy back up to full easily. Before beginning the boarding sortie. Makes things a little awkward, have to lose some experience, so it's hard to build up a good amount of fighting levels. But you make do. Like I said, if you can get reconstitutive teleport augment, then that little disadvantage disappears entirely. Which you never know, maybe we'll get lucky, one of these stores will have it. Could always switch out for a med bay. But honestly, I kind of like having the cloning center, aside from the whole disadvantage with the healing. Because with boarding parties, it's really easy to get careless for just a moment and lose a really valuable crew member. And then who knows when you're going to get the chance to replace him. Clone bay really helps with that. Could sell my rock plating though to get a hacking system, which I will do. Because hacking is lovely. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, slavers. Well, we'll do something about the slaver scum. Okay, here's the flat gun in action. See how that just rocked my shield and damaged my door system besides? Nasty stuff, flat guns. Now here's a little trick. If you put the hacking system on their med bay and activate it, it starts hurting them. They start trying to get out of the nasty room. It's pretty fun. Not quite as devastating as I wanted it to be, but that's where weapons back you up. Should probably repair those shields and turn my oxygen back on. Okay, now I get my choice of crew members. Well, let's get a mantis. Because that's what my crystal crew member really needs as a partner for his endeavors. And Cubbin, I'm just going to keep shuffling you around the Tektite to different systems. power bar so I can make this work a little bit easier. And let's see what we can find in the Zoltan sector. Gotta love a distress call. Let's see, satellite defense system going haywire. I should be, I can't. Dang it. I thought for sure I'd have a blue option from hacking for that, but I guess not. C'est la vie. Well, let's see if we can't make up for that bit of nastiness. And another super shield. Forgot I rearranged my weapons. Hopefully that bomb's not too nasty. Okay, ion bomb. Could be worse. Could be much worse. Just have to hope they don't randomly target my shields. At least until I can take their weapons offline, like so. Gotta watch out for Zoltans now, because now they explode when you kill them, which reminds me, I should have my clone bay on, because I'm pretty sure Swamps is going to suffer another ignoble death. Yep. And O'Regan barely survives. Which, might as well just kill him off so I can revive him. Slows down leveling a little bit, but I think the perks make up for it. Let's see. Sure, let's hack the station. That triggered the auto drone anyway. I'm not sending my boarding party over to the auto drone, even though the cloning bay does that make it a little bit more viable of a tactic than it would normally be. That was interesting. There we go. Hacking modules are really handy. The mind control system also has its own uses, but personally I prefer hacking. It's also really handy for boarding. Aside from the whole medbay trick, it's really handy for boarding if you don't have a crystal crew member, because it locks down the system, forcing the defenders to pound and destroy the doors before they can get in, which you can use to trash a system before the defenders have a chance to stop you. Let's see. Alright, that's a dead end. Don't want to bother with that. So we'll hit up the other nebula sectors. Yikes. Got a burst laser Mark III. Gonna want to do something about that. Still operating under a little bit of a power crunch. Okay, now we're in good shape. Is that a firebomb? No, good. That's just a small bomb. Handy. Love how this guy doesn't even try to get out the right way. Just panics and runs for the other door. So the small bomb is a little bit annoying, but the thing about bombs is that they never cause full damage. And so, provided that you're not gonna get into a bad situation because they took down one of your systems, you can afford to just let it ride. Swamp's down for the count again, but we'll have him back up. Reminds me I should reset my systems a bit here. I'll leave O'Regan alive for now. He's got a decent amount of health. Still want to try and get my hands on a drone system, because that'll make me a lot more secure if I can get a defense drone. Let's see. How do I want to handle this? I don't have a whole lot of drones sitting around. Okay, I think I'm in decent shape now. Except for that whole shields being partially down thing. That's better. Still, that kind of hurt. Next time I get to a store, I'm going to have to try and get some more repairs in, or else I'm going to find myself blowing up faster than I'd like. Not to this guy, though. I really don't want to get blown up right now, and I've got a nice group of systems going, so I better consolidate here. Level 3 shields should live a lot longer. Unless they've got ginormous missiles, which is always a distinct possibility. At least the asteroid field will help me drop there. Super shield faster. Ouch. There we go. I better watch out though that ship doesn't blow up with my guys on board. Alright, sorry swamps, but you're not much good to me with Jack for health. Okay. Back in action. These are a little shaky right now. There's some more power to keep me going. I just gotta get a little more scrap and find some repairs. Oh, thank goodness, something that I can painlessly survive. Not enough weapons in there, so I'd have to break through my shields. Gives me a little bit of breathing room. It's probably just my imagination, but I think auto ships have gotten a bit more evasive than they used to be. Lately they've been the bane of my existence in terms of constantly dodging shots that I'm relying on to disable them. So at least this one's some good experience for my pilot and engineer. Okay, and there's a store, alright. Take one little detour on the way to try and get a little bit more. Yeah, this might be nasty. All depends on where their hacking module hits. Okay, so this is gonna slow me down, but luckily they don't have enough firepower to get through my shield, so it's not going to be fatal. I'm just gonna have to deal with them randomly dropping my weapon systems. Could target their hacking system to stop it, but then they might retarget it at something a bit worse, like my shields. So we're gonna do this the slow way. Oh, and welcome Taser Blue, just saw your comment. Good to know that somebody's watching. I'm currently in Sector 3. Yeah, the weapons are kind of nasty, but at least it's up against a ship that can't beat through my defenses, so I'm willing to put up with it. But anyway, I'm in Sector 3 right now. Still fairly early in the run. Had a bit of shaky things, shaky events, as you might tell by my current hull integrity. But on the plus side, I've gotten my hands on a hacking system and a transporter, so I feel like I'm in pretty decent shape, all things considered. Now, if that ship actually had strong enough weapons to take me out, then that hacking drone hitting my weapons would be a pretty big deal. And I might have even considered retreating from the fight because, honestly, 9 times out of 10 it's the auto ships that are the death of me. last some repairs. Oh, so many good things, not nearly enough scrap to pay for any of it. Don't even have anything I'd be willing to sell. Oh well. They're getting a little bit better condition. And I'm tempted to pick up that slug crew member. But I think I'll wait and see if I can just recruit somebody along the way. I don't need someone on my shield system that badly. No, I'm not selling drone parts. I need that for my hacking module. Alright, on to the pirate realm we go. I just love the random intruders out of nowhere. It's the best kind of event, really. Especially when you're running a clone bay instead of a med bay, so you have to resurrect your people instead of healing them. Alright, and everybody is nice and almost dead. I really should upgrade my clone bay. Well, no time like the present. Just get a little more scrap and I can do it pretty easy. Ah, excellent. Good to have another crew member on board. Especially a backup mantis. Got some scrap too, so let's try and keep my people in a little bit better fighting form. And yet more random intruders. Let's see, looks like they're in the clone system. Looks like there's less of them this time. And we'll just let them die for right now. Yeah, suffocating is a nice strategy against intruders, but it only works really well if you have really upgraded door systems. Otherwise, you sap a little bit of health from them, and then they break into a room that actually has somebody in it, and now they have to worry about asphyxiating too, and it's a big mess. Unless, of course, you have high-level doors, in which case they're not breaking through them in a hurry. Let's see what we got here. Alright. A little bit worried about those weapons. Let's do something about those. Nice thing is the hacking system provides a backup for my lockdown. What the heck? Okay. Something to think about there. And that's all. Having to rely pretty heavily on my hacking and my swarm missiles now that they're getting higher shields. I'm gonna have to try and find a replacement for that heavy crystal. In the meantime, try and make my ship a little bit more safe. Swarm missile, I don't know if you've seen any of the charge weapons yet, but the swarm missile is basically a charging missile launcher. Triple up, you handle that. In the meantime, oh, they've got a cloning bay. Interesting. That out. Yeah, so here's the... Give me a sec, I'll show you the swarm in action. Let's see. Well, I'll wait for them to come out of their cloak first. So if I go like this... Fires 3 missiles, only costs 1 out of my missile reserves, which is pretty amazing. And that was the last of them. Oh boy, a sun. These are always a whole lot of fun. Sadly, super shields block the hacking modules and such, so I'm gonna have to power through that before I can teleport on board or otherwise mess with them. Cooldown on the transporter. And we're out of here. Well, what I'll be buying next depends on what I find. I'd like to get my hands on a drone system so that I can get a defense drone and not have to worry about missiles as much. That's probably at the top of my list. But if I can also get my hands on a reconstitutive teleport augment, That will really increase the efficiency of my boarding crews, because that teleports your guys, or heals your guys up to full health every time you transport them. Basically, it gets rid of the one big disadvantage of the cloning bay when you're doing boarding. But we'll see what I can get my hands on. That's what it all comes down to, really. And if I can't find a store, I'll probably boost up my engines a bit. Just for the sake of, you know, I should at least try and get Coven some skill out of this. But yeah, if I can get my hand, if I can't find a store, better engines are probably what I'll spend my scrap on. And a better laser wouldn't hurt, but I can get by with the swarm missiles and boarding if I have to. For a while, at least. Yeah, the cloning bay is really handy. Let's see, I just got a whole bunch of scrap from that, and there's a store in sight, so we'll boost up engines a little bit more. It's a trap. Some extra time. There we go. Just in case, 'cause I don't know who's going to come out on top of this. Probably going to lose swamps. Nope. Surprisingly enough. Let's bump the clone bay up to level 3. Oh, fueling station. Why not pick up some fuel at slightly discounted prices? Auto scout. Alright, asteroids will do most of my work for me at this point. Okay, well there's a store. I think if I'd warp somewhere else, though, the exit is going to be within the Rebel fleet before I can get to it. So I'm going to have to try and find another store. Because the Rebel fleet's gotten nasty. I don't know if you've run into it yet but they now have artillery support when you get caught by the rebel fleet. And so every so often you get hit by this really nasty shot that will cause hull breaches and damage, and it's a bad scene. Let's see, rebel checkpoint. Well, let's try the bribery route. I can spare the scrap. There we go. Came out slightly ahead. Oh, yep, see. I would have been in trouble if I'd tried to go to that store first. Oh, hey, here's the Rock Homeworlds. Now, here's the question. I know that they've changed around the way that the Crystal Ship quest goes. But I do know that before you could use a Crystal crew member to get to the secret sector, even if you hadn't done the earlier stages. So if I explore around... Oh, yep, here we are. Reactivate it, and voila. And now we are in the secret crystal sector. And there's something way over there, some nice little cash for me to find. See if I can get anything good while I'm here. Let's see. And it's been a while since I've been in the crystal sector. Oh, here's a new weapon, the repair bomb. If you use the healing burst, it's like that, except it repairs your subsystems. So if you've got missiles to burn, you can repair your own systems by dropping that thing in your own areas. Now I'm really interested to see if I'm going to be able to find a store, because if I find a store I might be able to get some good crystal gear. But mustn't neglect our defenses either. Let's see. Interesting. Sure, let's see what we get out of this. Sure, you know what? I'll take another crystal crew member. Aside from giving me a spare, I can also have him man my sensors. One of the other nice things about Advanced Edition is it gives you something to do with those extra people by manning sensors or doors. This one actually has a cloning center and a teleporter. Let's see. We'll have the new guy take care of that. Okay, better take out that cloning center first. We want them to be able to bring any of those people back. control situation. That's a bit better. I forgot their weapons are shield piercing, that's kind of an issue. The double lockdown is nice, but I usually find that one lockdown is plenty, to be honest. At least it's enough to destroy one minor subsystem, and that's usually what I'm after. Take out their med bay, take out their clone bay, something like that. Ooh, a store. Let's see what we can find. What have we got? Crystal burst. Ooh, and a flat gun. Flat guns are nice. But I do really need drone control, so we'll pick that up, filling up that final slot. If I needed any more crystal crew members, got a nice thing there. And we can ditch that repair bomb and pick up some tasty new weapons. Now I'm gonna have to upgrade my weapon system. It's not a bad problem to have, though. Until I do that, I'm gonna want to keep that swarm missile online. I better hack their weapons just to make sure those are shield piercing. Doing pretty good. So long as I don't get cocky, I think I'll be in good shape. Alright, let's rearrange this a little bit. Flat gun and crystal weapon will pair up nicely. Oh look, another flat gun. Ooh, let's see. What do I want to do with this? Well, let's ditch that heavy crystal. Oh, the flak is a lovely weapon that's really good at taking down shields, not so good at dealing precision damage to enemy systems. You'll see it in action pretty quick. Basically, it fires scrap at a guy in a pretty nice spread, but it fires multiple shots at once for low power, so, well, pretty grateful for all of that. Definitely the scrap in that. Crystal Vengeance isn't amazing, but I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's see if I can't. Let's see. Ah, here we go. Gotta love those blue options. Hail the ship. Disable their weapon system. Still need to improve my weapon system a little bit more. And we are out of the crystal sector. Where do we end up now? Civilian sector. Okay, I can work with that. And I can also work with some cheap fuel. Oh hey, backup battery. That'll come in handy. That'll save me some, especially since I'm going to be making a lot of demands of my reactor power. It does fire kind of like the swarm missile, the flat cannon, in that it sort of targets an area rather than a specific thing. Let's see, let's take this guy to his home planet because that's generally a safer option than trying to recruit him. Okay, here we go. So, ooh, they've got a Vulcan cannon. That could get nasty. Flat cannon, and follow that up with the crystal burst. And now they can't escape. So yeah, you have to be careful with the flat cannon because it doesn't go exactly where you want it to. But on the plus side, it does do a number on enemy shields. So many stores. There's actually not that much I need right now. There we go. A bit more energy so I can run 2 flat cannons at once. Ion Storm. On the plus side, lots of scrap and extra defense drone, and all I have to do is put down some intruders. More than I thought. Better make sure my clone center is on because I'm about to lose people. Okay. Let's see. You know what? We'll attack the automated ship. This way I can show off the flat cannons. charge, give my crystal a second to catch up. Alright, here we go. So these are the flat cannons in action. Kabam. Well, you can see there are some accuracy issues that they run into, but it's an impressive volley that can really do a number on enemy shields, so... Alright, here comes another volley. The Flak 2 is even nicer. It only takes a little bit more power, but it fires a burst of 7 shots. One of those will even take down the Flagship's shields pretty fast. Like I said, not exactly great at dealing damage to specific systems, but with the whole inaccuracy. Yeah, but plenty good at taking shields down. And that's really what they're there for. Smashing shields down in a hurry. Ooh, man, they are just showering me with awesome stuff this game. To be honest, I haven't had the chance to mess around with the Flak 2 very much, so I don't know if I could offer an opinion on whether or not it's overpowered. But it does take a little bit longer to charge up, but I mean, with 7 bolts, it's going to take down any kind of shields you run into in a hurry. And that is undeniable. Pretty much. I wouldn't want to try and destroy an enemy ship using nothing but flat guns because of the accuracy issues. But flat guns in conjunction with something else that can do some fast targeted damage is a thing of beauty. And one more guy to round out the crew. We can have him man our door system. There we go. That would be a pretty nasty setup. The weapon pre-igniter, a couple of flaks, a burst laser, and a swarm. It wouldn't all fit because I believe the flak 2s take 3 energy, but just having a couple of those and then the burst laser 2 would really screw things up. The swarm, actually, the charge weapons don't work all that well with the pre-igniters because it only gives you the first charge up. It'll only give you 1 charge when you start. The pre-igniter won't give you a full charge. So instead of firing 3 missiles, it would give you 1 missile immediately, which, given how quickly charge weapons charge up, isn't that amazingly an advantage. Still, I mean, every little bit helps. Okay, on we go. Attack the pirates. Okay, well, let's get that defense drone up. So you can see the emergency battery at work here, giving me some temporary power I could use to run my hacking system. Temporary stuff like teleporters and hacking is a great use for your emergency battery because then you're not tying up permanent power resources on a temporary system. Doesn't hurt anything when the battery goes offline and the system powers down. Gotta watch my drone usage though. Unfortunately at this point I am locked out of cloaking because you're only allowed to have 8 subsystems now, which if you take into account shields, engines, clone, oxygen, teleporter, hacking, weapons, drones, that's 8. That's all I'm allowed to have, sadly. So it involves a little bit of give and take. You have to decide which systems you really want. If you really wanted cloaking, then I would have had to give up on hacking or drones or a transporter in order to fit that in. And to be honest, I'd rather have the hacking and drones and transporters. Yeah, the battery gives you a temporary power surge, providing you with a couple of extra reactor power bars on a cooldown. What I really need to do is power up my weapon system so I can get that charge ion into fray. Okay, so got one more sector for us before we encounter the flagship. Go through the Mantis sector since we've got a nice full crew and not much reason to worry about enemy borders. Well, let's see if we can get those ships. Holy crap. That is some pretty hefty opposition there. There we go. Yeah, you have to make some hard choices with the way the new systems work. But as you can see with the emergency battery, I've got the hacking system temporarily powered without having to divert my permanent resources away from my shields and weapons and such. And no harm done when the power wears off and the system goes dark. And thankfully the emergency battery counts as a little subsystem, so it doesn't count against the limit of 8. Otherwise, to be honest, it probably wouldn't be worth it. I mean, a little bit of extra power is nice, don't get me wrong, but usually I find you can squeeze out enough power from all your systems to make it work. If you upgrade the emergency battery, it gives you 4 power bars instead of 2, which is pretty nice. As you can see, it's really lucky I've got this pair of flat cannons, because otherwise running into a powerhouse auto ship like that with 4 layers of shields would have been a really nasty encounter. Oh, one other thing to watch out for. Now when one of your defense drones gets destroyed, there's a cooldown before you can launch a new one. So you can't just immediately put another one out there to stop missiles. Luckily that applies to the enemies as much as it does to you, so sometimes you can take out their defense drones and take advantage of the opening before they launch another one. Let's see what this store has to offer. Ooh, Zoltan's shield bypass. That is actually be a very good thing to have. Allows you to teleport and bomb and mind control around super shields, which I probably don't have to tell you is pretty dang handy during the third stage of the flagship encounter, when it throws up that super shield and you want to take down the missile launcher in a hurry. Neither of these augments are doing me a whole lot of good, so let's sell them for scrap so I can use that to power up my systems a bit more. Those last levels of weapon power are pretty expensive. And now we have an ion weapon to actually usefully disable that. Huzzah! Let's check out this store, see if there are any more good augments floating around. Ooh, weapon pre-igniter. I don't know. Well, I can't pass up a pre-igniter. Besides, I'm getting plenty of scrap these days. Ouch. Oh, there goes my defense drone. Need to watch my drone supply. Oh good, Cubbin's leveled up to level 2 weapons. Always appreciate having better weapon charge times. Okay. Well, the interesting thing now is that with the clone bay, helping the giant spiders isn't necessarily the wrong choice. Huzzah! So you can play the odds and try and fight them back instead of having to worry about the very good chance that they'll kill off one of your crew members. Gotta watch out for that though, because it doesn't apply to all events where you can lose a crew member. Oh boy. So here's another new thing to worry about in this one. What we have here is a pulsar. Which will randomly disable our systems. And they've got a hacking device, which I'm also going to have to watch out for because it's on my frickin' clone bay. So I'm gonna hack their hacking to disrupt their drone. So as you can see, the pulsar has randomly dealt ion damage to a bunch of my systems, which is kind of a dangerous situation to be in, for obvious reasons. that was kind of a close one. I mean, I didn't have to worry about them blowing me up, but I could have lost my borders pretty easily if things had gotten timed wrong. Okay, let's get out of here. Away from a pulsar and over to a sun. Figures. Alright. Oh, so here's another interesting new event. What can happen here is that you'll randomly run into shipwrights who do upgrades and emergency work and that sort of thing. Basically, it gives you an opportunity to upgrade one of your subsystems for a discount. So if you have the extra scrap lying around, it's a pretty nice way to get a little bit better, to get your systems upgraded a little bit cheaper. Alright, now I can have all of my weapons online. Use the extra scrap I get between here and the flagship to bring my reactor up to snuff. Okay, let's see. So they changed things up a little bit with this, in more ways than one. For one, you don't start at the base now. The base is a little bit ways away. And the flagship is basically between you and the flagship. Thankfully, though, the flagship has to spend 3 consecutive turns at the base in order to destroy it, which actually gives you a little bit more time if you have the opportunity to beat it once or twice while it's trying to destroy it. First, you gotta get there. So as you can see, the charge ion only gets 1 level of charge from the weapon pre-igniter. So in order to get the rest of it in there, I have to hold my horses, basically. But that said, once you get it charged up, with the way ion weapons work, it does a pretty effective job at taking a system down. Provided you don't miss too much in the early stages. Frickin' flak bombs, let's see. Guess I'm gonna need to hack their systems to give me some peace. Delay their ion bombs long enough to get my weapons back online. There we go. Not giving the charge ion a very good showing in this battle because those shots keep getting intercepted, but I swear it's an excellent weapon. And that gives us enough scrap to max out our reactor. Might as well swing into the repair station. We'll be coming back this way. And that gets me some more drones. Alright, got all the essentials out of the way. Can always bring engines up a bit more for safety's sake. My, that's a lot of ion weapons. I guess the charge ion is a little bit redundant because I have a couple of flat cannons already for dealing with shields, but on runs where I don't have flat cannons, I definitely appreciate... They haven't added a drone that, like a combat drone that does ion damage, but they've added anti-combat drones which use little ion shots to take out enemy combat drones attacking your ship. And they've added an ion border drone, which will wander around your ship, ioning systems and stunning your crew members, which is kind of annoying. Alright, almost to our first encounter with the Flagship. all that nastiness. They've still got a little bit of power in their cloning system. Gonna have to do something about that. Don't want them bringing their people back, that'd defeat the whole purpose. There we go. Alright, here comes the flagship. Phase 1. Now, we've got a hacking drone now. Okay, this could be worse. So, Phase 1 of the flagship now has a hacking drone, which, depending on what it hits, can be pretty devastating. If that thing latches onto your weapons or your shields, then you're going to want to try and jump out of there in a hurry, because you're in deep trouble. Having it latch onto your drone system, though, isn't so bad. And I'm gonna take a bit of damage from their missile launcher, but we'll soon have that down. Alright, now I can relax a bit. Take my time dismantling the rest of the ship. Start by messing with their mid-bay. Well, O2 is nice, but I want to make sure I keep one of their people alive so that the ship doesn't go into autopilot. Oh, whoops. Hit my lockdown too fast. Alright, so I'm gonna take some losses here, but the clone bay will settle for that. I almost forgot to take out the guy in that beam section over there. And there we go. Nice and secure. So yeah, that hacking drone could be a lot worse than it ended up being. I took some extra damage because it was messing with my defense drones, but otherwise, not too bad. Nice thing is you do have the extra time it takes to lose against the flagship, so there's the opportunity to run away if you need to, in order to try and get it to target a different section of your ship. And if you've got your own hacking drone, you can always hack their hacking until they hack something that's not important. Alright, and their shields are out. And that's the first stage down. Let's see. Bump up a couple of systems because I can. And make ready for phase 2. Hitting O2 is survivable, but only if you have a level 2 oxygen system. If you have a level 2 oxygen system, then it can recover enough in between being hit by their hacking in order to keep your people from choking to death. If you don't have a level 2 life support system and the hacking drone hits that, that might be another reason, another situation in which... Oh, I didn't realize they were still firing boarding drones. But having to deal with the oxygen system going down from hacking might be another reason why you have to jump out and re-engage with the flagship in order to get the hacking system to target something less important. Because honestly, if it hits your sensors or your doors, who cares? It's not really going to hurt you to have those systems taken down. But there are plenty of systems that it can take down that will hurt you pretty badly, and so you gotta watch out. Alright, and that takes care of Phase 2. Next up is Phase 3. During Phase 3, it's going to have itself a mind control system. Which honestly isn't the worst thing in the world, but it can be a little bit dangerous. So as you can see, they just mind-controlled my Mantis who is manning my shields. So he's gonna probably start trying to take those down. Better distract him now. Until that mind control wears off. Thank goodness for cloning days. Okay, so that's one off. Time to get things back in order. So yeah, things are a little bit rough at the moment, but I'm doing okay. My hull is holding together. Oh, now they're mind controlling my Zoltan. That's unfortunate. But it's only a matter of time now. Let's see. Let's do something about that mind control while I'm waiting to bring those weapons back up. There we go. Mind control taken care of. There. Victory. Victory for the valiant crew of the Tektite. Alright, and that brings us right about to the 2-hour mark, so that's a good closing off point for tonight. Let's see. Not bad on the score. Managed to get the Ancestry achievement on the normal difficulty, which is nice. Not one of my top scores, but still. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Alright, so that about wraps it up for tonight. Next week I'm going to be playing FTL again. I'm going to see if I can unlock another Type C layout in order to mess around with. Maybe the Federation Cruiser, or perhaps the Zoltan ship, one of those. Unless I get a request from somebody. If you enjoyed this live cast, then I would encourage you to check out my fundraising page, which is listed in the description with a link, and maybe toss a couple of bucks in. If you toss a couple of bucks in and tell me a game that you want to see me play next, or a ship you want to see me fly in FTL, I would be happy to fulfill that. At any rate, have a good night, and hopefully I will see you next week.